Hello YouTube, another update for you. Here's Benjamin and company. Benjamin is taking a bit of a nap somewhere, and these guys are pretty much ready to say goodnight today as well. Just showing you a nice peaceful tank, and here's my flower horn. He is growing quite fast, but he is going to be one beautiful fish when he gets bigger, and so will a lot of these fish. So that's tank number 1. Tank number 2 is waiting on all these guppies I am trying to breed as well. Some new plants were added, a couple new different varieties of catfish. I have about 7 or 8 of these, and I am also adding on a betta fish, and there should be a female betta as well in the tank. Now he's just relaxing. He's fairly new to the tank, so he's just getting in sync with everything. So that's tank number 2. As we wait for those guppies, I'm gonna take you guys over and show you another tank, which is my angelfish. And just to pass on some advice I've heard, you want to keep these little satellite fish. These guys are my little flying fish. You want to have something like that. If you have angelfish, you want to have some kind of other fish in the tank that are maybe smaller, that the angelfish can chase around. Now, apparently what it does is it removes their aggression, so the angelfish are less aggressive. And as you can see, my angelfish are very calm. They're not aggressive looking. And that's tank number 3. Tank number 4 are all little guppy fry fish. This is from my black female. I have about 30 of these little guys that I'm growing out. We'll see how big they get and what colors they will have, but mostly black. I don't believe there will be any other colors in this set of fry, but there's a ton of fry, and you can see some of them are already starting to get colors. Like this one here is starting to show a really dark color already. So that's one tank, tank 4. Tank number 5. Tank 5 here would be the juvenile tank. I had 4 little juveniles in here. I've just added, sorry about the glare, I've just added 4 more little guys that I got from the bottom left tank. If you guys seen my videos, the bottom left tank, let me zoom out, is the one I had problems with, and there's a black male there with a red-tailed black female. So all my fish are doing pretty well. I just added another little female into this tank, so both of these males are extremely happy now. I've noticed each male has to have his own female, or at least the ratio has to be 1-to-1 for them to be happy. So this is the tank I wanted to talk about today, though, just to give you guys some advice. Look how much brighter the light is in that tank. Now that's because I put in 2 60-watt LED light bulbs. Now 60-watt LED energy saving, they burn about 5 or 7 watts but they're actually 60-watt light bulbs. Now, what this has done is these fish are actually, believe it or not, more active than most of my other tanks because of the light. And the algae in this tank is going absolutely crazy. Everything's green everywhere. It's just going green. Now, I do like the green tint on the glass. I'm trying to keep that algae going. Any plants I put in this tank just absolutely go crazy for the light. They just grow out like there's no tomorrow. So a really nice bright tank with bright light. It's actually really fun to look at. The colors of the fish show up a lot better. But the downfall is if you do not want algae, this is probably not a good idea for you. But if you have a lot of plants, it might be. Now, the biggest thing I wanted to mention and why I'm showing you this is the algae is actually good for a couple things. In this particular tank, you can see that this yellow female, which has been looking to breed for a while now, she is ready to go almost any day. And if she does have little babies, and if I do not have time to move them to that juvenile tank up at the top, they will probably have to feed off of this algae. Even if I'm not able to feed them, this will sustain them. This will feed all these fish. Now, the algae itself, oh, I did add that little female there as well. The algae itself, I do collect it. I take a stick, a little, almost like a chopstick. I take it in, and then I grab all these long pieces of algae that are just hanging, like on the back there. I don't know if I can. I don't really have a demonstration I can do for you right now, but I do grab them with the stick, and then I take them over to my big cichlid tank for my Oscar fish and my other cichlids in there, and I drop the algae in my tank over there. Now, the other tank is in a corner, and it cannot grow any algae because there's a lot of shade there, and all they have is their little LED, which isn't powerful enough to sustain plants. So this algae, when I drop it in that tank, those fish over there, they absolutely love to eat it. It's better than any dry food. A lot of time, it's a good sustenance for some natural vitamins. So I'm gonna keep growing this algae out. I'll keep feeding it to my cichlid fish, and we'll see how that goes. So far that is working really well. They absolutely love algae, and I did not know that. And a lot of fish do eat algae, like these guppies. This is what they thrive on. They thrive on algae. So we'll see how it goes. Don't be scared of algae, but it is really hard to clean when they start to produce huge amounts of algae in the tank, right? So not like it's hard to clean the tank. It's a really small tank. I can clean it, but I would rather keep the algae growing and keep feeding it to my other fish. They seem to love it. So I might actually eventually just move my little fry fish into these tanks and have them grow up in here. But at this point, I do prefer them in their own tanks. And as you can see, the little babies are definitely getting along with everybody here. So there's about 4 or 5 of these little guys that have no colors yet. I do not know what colors they will be. All I know is their female, I think, was a red-tailed female. Now this other tank, I can't wait for these guys to start breeding and producing some interesting fish. They have been chasing each other like crazy. I don't think I've seen any other 2 guppies other than my yellow guppies that are that attracted to each other. And one more tank to couple more things to show you for an update. My blue guppies, I'm still waiting on some blue guppy babies. Hopefully they will produce. This female is still fairly new. I've had her for a couple months, and I think I have 1 fried fish from her so far. So we'll see if she produces more fried fish as time goes on. And in this tank, the other on the right side is where my red guppies are. Now I'm having a very hard time trying to get these guys to breed. She is still not even anywhere close to breeding, and she's been in there with at least 3-4 different red males in the past, so I do not know the reason for that yet, but we'll keep trying, see what happens. Meanwhile, this is the female that I think gave birth to the 4 little fry at the top that I saw. Maybe there were more in here hiding at some point, but they must have eaten a lot of them. I don't think she's a female that only would give birth to 4. I think she can produce more. So I think a lot of them were eaten. So that's why it's so important to have some sort of cover like I have in this tank. So at least 4 of them survived. And I have something in every single tank for these guys to hide in, as I mentioned in my other videos. So let's hope that we continue growing out some nice guppies so we can put them in my 55-gallon tank. And now that I know that I can produce a lot of algae with these really bright lights in this tank, and that my other fish eat it, I might think about, giving them more algae more often. Thanks a bunch, guys. Subscribe to my channel. Give us a like. And good luck with your tanks.